I'm Tara Thomas from MeetingPulse Marketing. It's a pleasure to see you all and a pleasure to be able to bring you all of the advancements of the platform today that we've worked so hard on over the past year. With me today, of course, is my esteemed colleague, Emily Zaring. Emily?
Hi, thanks so much for joining us today. I'm the head of service operations and customer success at MeetingPulse. I think I've met a good number of you, so thank you for joining. And all the new faces, that's wonderful to see you as well.
Thanks. So, just a quick introduction before Emily gets started here with the bulk of the content. So this year, we have really had the pleasure of bringing a lot of advancements to the Meeting Pulse platform. Not only is Meeting Pulse a leading response and interaction tool, it is now firmly event tech that provides an app experience across every stage of the event lifecycle, before, during, and after. Everything from your pre-event surveys to your check-ins to your session interactions, to content, two ways now content. You can actually provide content for your participants and you can have them submit content back to you. We have really grown this prolific platform to an element of being a robust, mission critical event tech for your company. So with that, we are going to proceed with showing you all of the new bells and whistles and things that have come across this year. You'll note that in the chat for this meeting in the Zoom, there is a link to the Meeting Pulse app where you can provide any questions if you would like. Again, we will also offer the opportunity for you to unmute and come on camera. We love to see people this time of year and to ask any specific questions directly of the team. Alrighty, so away we go, folks. Emily, please go ahead.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Tara. All right. So today we're going through the Meeting Pulse platform updates, looking back at what we've improved in 2024, as well as some hints to what we'll be doing in 2025. I am very excited for this. Hopefully, I will be able to get through all the content in time. Now, one of the things that we had was a mid-year update. I know not everyone was able to make it, but some of the features that we covered in that was we now have a Google Slideshow integration where you can bring your Google Slideshow directly into Meeting Posts and run polls and Q&A and use other broadcast views as well. You can also use our Smart Poll AI, which is fantastic for creating quick icebreakers or additional prompts for your audience to interact with. One thing that I know some of the people in this audience will be pleased to hear is that we have supercharged our super admins. We have added the ability for super admins to reset passwords. We also now allow you to do a admin login of any user in your platform. That allows you to really assist in setting up their meetings or troubleshooting any problems that they might have. Uh, we also have license admins, and license admins are able to do those same things as well. Our PowerPoint add-in has super powered up this year. We have added SAML login, which is a thing that we've had requested for a number of years. This will allow you to lock your meeting using SAML so that only people who are within your corporate network are able to get in. And you'll also still be able to use the PowerPoint add-in to launch your polls or display Q&A from right within your PowerPoint presentation. We've also greatly enhanced the sharing capabilities of PowerPoint. So now what you can do is if you are sharing a meeting with someone, you're making them a manager, you can take your PowerPoint presentation where you have already set up all of your meeting polls and just give that to them. They'll sign in with their account and automatically all of the polls will be populated throughout the whole thing. Similarly, you can do this by cloning templates. So I know some people like to have a PowerPoint template for meetings that are repeated across an organization. This allows you to uh, take this meeting, take the PowerPoint, and have them make a copy of it, have them clone the meeting that you started in. They sign in and select the meeting, and all of the polls will update automatically from within PowerPoint. So it's a really nice way of collaborating.
And distributing content. So if you
Yes.
have a sales team, if you are actually providing a template for your organization to use, this is really revolutionary and something we've had very much requested, that those polls are retained for everyone who gets that template or that presentation to use.
All right. Now, in addition to PowerPoint, PowerPoint makes heavy use of our broadcast view, and we have greatly enhanced that as well. We've added a QR code sidebar. So now one of the options is not just having the URL for people to type in on their phones. Now they can pull out their cameras and scan the QR code from anywhere in the audience, and they'll be able to access the meeting. We have improved our broadcast view charts, so now they're being used both in the presenter view and in the engagement report. This is going to lay the foundation for some improvements in 2025, where we'll be able to improve the broadcast view, and you'll see those improvements throughout the app because it's all the same technology. We've also added some great pagination where you can now choose how many of the answers will show up on your broadcast view. You can also use phrase clouds. This is a thing that we added last year, uh, but sometimes when you use phrase clouds, people will be a bit verbose. And when that happens, we add an ellipsis so you can see part of the phrase without having it take over the whole thing. Similarly, column charts, sometimes if you have lots of columns, the titles can be a little bit long for that, and so you're able to now have those shortened with an ellipsis. The engagement report improvements. So we have moved to a more PowerPoint style engagement report. Each poll gets its own slide. Which is in landscape view. We've moved the stats from being kind of taking up a whole bunch of space on the side and collapsed them into a little footer so you can see what type of poll it is, how many people responded, how many people got quizzes correct, that sort of thing. Similarly, we've added the broadcast view controls straight into the engagement report. So now you can choose which of the poll styles you use for each of the polls without leaving the engagement report at all. Pie charts have been greatly improved. We've added a lot of new layout computations so that everything looks a lot nicer. We've also added a new other category for when you have lots of options that that you need to group together the smallest ones into an other piece. So that'll make it a little bit easier for you to see the overall thing. All right. So now I have a Q&A up. If you guys want to take your phones and scan the QR codes, you can do that now. You can also type them in. I know Jasmine has been posting the link. Um, so I'll give everyone just a minute.
Don't be shy, everyone. Ask those questions. We're
Yep.
also happy to have you unmute
Mhm.
and come on camera if you have a question about anything so far. If not, we will move on.
All
Oh,
right. There'll be more opportunities for questions later. And if you have questions about what you've already seen so far, feel free to add them and I'll cover them at that time. We've also added great ways for you to identify your audience. So for a long time, we've had secured links. This allows you to use personalized links that are encrypted so that people can access the meeting with some authentication without having to type anything in and with their name and email and all of that details coming in with them through the link. This, however, requires some amount of coding and isn't available in all embed platforms. So we have recently added simple pass URLs. These will let you pass the name and the email in of the attendee straight in clear text in the URL. This allows you to use it in a lot more places. There are a lot more websites that will allow you to do this. You can include this when it's embedded, or you can forward it to people over email. The other thing that we have added is the best of both worlds. Sometimes you know who your audience is, and sometimes you don't, and sometimes it's a mix. When it's a mix, you can use registration. People who have the link that has the identity, they're going to go straight into your meeting and skip over registration. Meanwhile, the unidentified people, they get prompted to enter their name and email, and then they get into the system. That allows you to have a simple access, as simple as possible, and allows the audience to all be identified. Registration updates. So registration has a whole bunch of new things. We have the option for a header image. I love this. It creates a very nice branded feel for it. We have conditional image and text. So depending on which poll answer they select, you can display different text, different images. Sometimes you can have different locations that they might want to consider when signing up for different things. We've added options for social links. Those social links can be things like LinkedIn, Calendly, or any other internal social networking system you would like. There is also the option to add a profile picture field. So this allows people to upload pictures of themselves so that they can have that shown as part of their registration. You can use our file upload to gather things like NDAs or photo permissions. You can also use this if you want to have a speaker portal. A speaker portal would allow you to get your PowerPoint presentations from the speakers. They just come in and they upload it. They can upload their profile picture that they want in their speaker bio. They can also write in their speaker bio as well.
So this is very exciting for capturing data from speakers and other roles in terms of your event participants. Our registration is not just designed to be a traditional event registration, though many people use it that way. It is actually now a way for you to create portals to collect information from folks that you need it from. So very exciting. Thanks, Emily.
So we also now have an attendee profile. So if you go to the attendee list, you can now click on any of the attendees and you will get this view. The view is going to give you all of the details that they have for registration. You may notice the edit button in the corner. That allows you to actually go in and correct any information that the attendee may have messed up. So if they contact you outside of the system, you can go in and correct it. Similarly, it includes things like the vote weights, vote points, proxies, and if you do any kind of attendee upload, you can use custom data. So that's custom data for each attendee about their department or their role in their company, that kind of thing. All of that will be shown also in this attendee profile. Now, this by itself is very fun, but it's really foundational work for further attendee profile expansion in 2025. I have a bit more on that a little bit later. We've added timers. Timers are really wonderful for creating urgency and creating a sense of everyone kind of doing the same thing at the same time. So you can add timers to any poll inside MeetingPulse. You can also add these timers to surveys. So surveys are groups of polls, and the timer for a survey is going to be the amount of time they have to answer all of the poll questions. So this can be fun if you've got multiple increasing difficulty questions. You can also have timers for quizzes. Quizzes, obviously, the timer is a great way to kind of see how fast people are at answering the questions. So it's a fun way of testing people's instant recall. Another thing that we have added is point voting. So you may have noticed I said that people can have different vote points. We have a new poll type called point voting. You can give attendees a list, an amount of points, which they can choose to allocate across all of the different options. Each attendee can also be given a different number of points. So you can upload a list of attendees and say, okay, this one has 10 points, but this one only has 5 points because they haven't been here as long. Things like that. It's a really great way of getting more information about second choice and third choice, similar to how our ranked choice voting and preference order polls work, but a slightly different technique. This is also really good for things like product features, where you want to have people vote on different product features, which ones they think are most important, or any kind of different system changes to your organization. All of that is really nice for that. The other thing that we have added is the ability to export polls and form fields. So this will create a, custom MeetingPulse file called a .mpx file. It will download, you can download an individual poll, you can download all of the polls in a module, you can download all of the polls in a survey. All of that can then be imported into another meeting. You can give it to someone else. You can move polls from polling to forms. You can move registration to forms. You can move forms to polls. All of these things can be moved around, and it's a lot easier to change how your system is going to look. It also allows you to really easily reuse content between meetings without having to, say, clone the meeting and delete the stuff you're not going to use. All right.
Any questions? I know that's super exciting, being able to reuse content without having to clone a meeting. I love that, being able to transfer a module. But any questions at this juncture from anyone? All right, everybody gets it. You're doing a great job, Emily. Let's keep going.
All right. Thanks. We have added pulse improvements as well. We added a whole new set of pulse emojis with a wide variety of options. We have these, all of these ones are categorized by different things, so by food or animals or activities, that kind of thing. We also have options for searching through these emojis. So, and one of the things that we include also are alphanumeric options. So we've had a 1 through 10 or 1 through 9 option already, which can be nice for instant feedback on, say, slides. So people can rate the slides as they're going through. Also, you can have things like A or B, or have letters that are associated with different teams or different groups so that people can respond quickly and say that they agree with this or they agree with this other person. Announcements can now be saved. This is something that I have had requested for, I believe, as long as I've been at MeetingPulse. Announcements have always been a just-in-time thing, and what I've had to tell people is you put them in a separate document. We've fixed that. Now what you can do is you can create drafts. Those drafts you can have as many as you want. You can edit them, you can copy them, and you can send them at whatever time you want. This also allows you to really make use of Markdown inside of announcements. As before, it was kind of a pain to use Markdown because you had to type in the announcement right when you wanted it. But now, because you can save it in advance, you can use colors, you can use links, any of our Markdown options, including custom data. So if you wanted to have an announcement that tells everyone where they need to go next, but everyone's different, you can upload that as a piece of custom data and embed it inside of an announcement. And so everyone gets an announcement of where they're going next, even though it's not the same place. We have also improved our attendee preview. So this is the attendee view toggle on the right side in presenter view. We added a phone or tablet view frame about around the outside to make it clear that that's what's going on. The other thing that we have done is added the nav bar to the bottom. And so that allows you to navigate just as your attendees would. You can also navigate to a different module than you are currently working on. So you'll be able to see, say, bubble ups, or you can have Q&A open while you're working on your coming polls to see whether or not any questions are coming in.
Emily, we do have a question regarding the announcements feature.
Wonderful.
So the first part of the question is, are announcements connected to registration? And that is not the case. Announcements are just a module in MeetingPulse that you can use with as many or as few other modules as you would like. And the second part of that question was, do they receive a text message? They do not. So MeetingPulse is a web application that gives it great adoption because no one has to install anything. So therefore, it doesn't work with the phone functionality or the device. And anyone could be on a laptop or a desktop as well. So that message appears over the attendee view. I hope that answers your question. Attendee number 9.
Another thing that we have added is the ability to have backgrounds added to our chat module for theming. The other thing that we have added is the ability to have a custom header image on your emails. So if you don't have our theming module, you are stuck with a solid color background for all of your attendee views and broadcast views. You also are stuck with just the logo that your company has that's at the top of things like the registration confirmation email and any invitations that you want to send. With theming, you get a whole bunch more options, especially for backgrounds. So you can put custom backgrounds on any of the different modules that we have. You can have them in the broadcast view. You can customize some text that is available. Another thing that we have that people really like is the ability to control the colors in polling. So if you find I know some people find the word cloud a little bit vibrant. If you wanted something a little bit more staid, a little bit more uh, sober, you can change that with theming. We have both a bunch of like custom made ones that have different vibes to them so that you can pick from them, but you can also customize them yourself. So you can put as many colors as you want in it, and you can choose the exact hex code so that it fits with your marketing department. Another thing I wanted to mention is that we have a deal right now, which is 25% off theming. Also, any enterprise add-on. So if that's more more admins, if you wanted to add more languages, all of that is 25% off. And Tara, how long is that good for?
Till next week. So if you are interested in enhancing your account with theming, and theming is amazing. I just want to reiterate, if you don't have theming, it takes MeetingPulse from great to stratospheric. because it gives you the ability to mold a visual experience for your meeting. So if that's of interest to you, let us know, and we'll be able to, until next week, extend you a 25% discount off of this, off of your annual license for theming. So great time to grab it.
Okay, so we have that question.
Yeah, we
Um,
addressed that one, so I think
yep,
we can move on. This is a very well-educated team of people. They are picking up what you're putting down, Emily.
I think that's right. I think that's right. Um, all right. So, product enhancements for 2025. Um, we are uh we have some plans. We have plans for a number of different product enhancements. So we're looking at making a networking module. We're looking at making a slides module, adding AI to our Q&A, and adding skim support for folks who want better user provisioning. Our networking module, this is sort of based on and what the attendee profile is getting us ready for. So it will allow attendees to find other participants. They'll be able to see bios. They'll have the option to include things like their calendar linked and LinkedIn links, also to write their own bios about, who they are and why they're there. They can securely upload files in as part of registration. So if you have people who are, scientists or doctors who have some kind of presentation or paper that they want to share with people, they would be able to upload it through the registration module, and then it would be available through networking. This can also be really nice for recruiting events if you want people to be able to upload their um their resumes and things like that. We are also adding a slides module. So a lot of times people have a slideshow and they do want people to have access to it, but they also want people to be paying attention to what's going on. Right now, what you can do is you can put the slideshow as a file in materials, and you can make that visible after the slideshow is done, and people can download it and use it for reference. The slides module is taking it to the next level. The slides module is going to show people the slides as you're going through them. They won't be able to skip ahead to any future slides, but they will be able to skip back and take a look at the slide that you maybe just left because they didn't get a chance to see, read all of it. So that's a really nice way of adding details and adding comprehension of your slideshow because people will be able to go back, they'll be able to read, that kind of thing. We also have thoughts about possibly adding some commenting options as well so that people could use that to take notes while the slideshow's going on.
And if
And
you
then,
have thoughts about any of these as we're going through them, we'd love to hear any feedback for things we should consider about these roadmap plans.
yes, very much so. I would greatly appreciate any feedback that you guys have. So, next thing is AI summaries. So, we already have AI as part of our Smart Poll AI, which I mentioned earlier. I use it all the time. It's great for creating quick polls to get engagement. But we're also going to add AI to summarize the themes and uh, overall direction of your Q&A. The idea is that we're going to have sort of high-level themes with a bit of text explaining what those themes are and selecting a key question that is that is representative of each of those different themes. So that'll be a really nice way to uh, add a really nice way for you to sort of summarize it and see what's going on, especially when you have a large volume of questions. The other thing, of course, is that we know that some organizations are very sensitive about the AI content. We will have a warning on it so that if you do not want people to send it, they won't have to. This is also something that we can turn off for customers who have purchased our custom CSS add-on, which allows them to control basically everything in the system. Now, sim support, this goes best with SAML. What it does is it allows for user provisioning. So it will allow you to automatically create MeetingPulse user accounts and reduce the overhead of it. Additionally, when you have employees who leave, you'll be able to deprovision them and take away their access. This greatly improves security. You don't have to wait for the communication loop to the admins to be notified when someone has been let go. It's also much more efficient because so much of it can be handled automatically. So this is a thing that we are looking towards in 2025 as well. And that is the end of my slideshow.
Thank you for that, Emily. Does anyone have any comments, any questions, any kudos? Because Emily is a treasure to me. She has so much information and really helps. We have Laura. Hello, Laura.
Hi. Yeah, thank you for going for that in-depth stuff. We are newer to using Meeting Pulse, and so we want to utilize it as much as we possibly can for all of the different elements. So I'm hoping to dive into the registration kind of module or items or go through that more. So we'll definitely be contacting you guys for that.
Mhm.
One of the questions I had is we have a website that has like it's a WordPress and it has built-in registration forms that it can create.
Mhm.
Is there a way that we can use your link in our registration website so that we're already capturing that registration information so we don't have to go and keep, duplicate efforts? Is there a way that we can communicate them together?
Yeah, so with just basic WordPress, probably not,
Okay.
but there are, literally thousands of WordPress add-ons.
Yeah.
Um, the way that I would say, so there are two ways that you can do this. One is you can embed Meeting Pulse registration in an iframe. So there is the WordPress registration, but you could use Meeting Pulse registration instead. So just
Okay.
like have us replace that fully.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing, the simple pass option that I mentioned, where you can include just the name and the email,
Hmm.
that is the kind of thing that a number of systems will have. Um, it will allow you to just do basic, simple substitution.
Got it.
And then the other thing that we have, two other things, is Zapier. So Zapier could be used to send that information. I know that for a lot of your events, you guys are already doing a attendee upload.
Hmm.
So you would be able to potentially use Zapier to get the information to the right places.
Okay.
Similarly, we have an API. If you've got some programmers who can manipulate the data and move it around. Um, and-
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I
We
would
can
love
take a
to.
look at your use case, Laura,
Yeah.
and work with you on what we think will work best for
Cool.
you. Definitely able to move that data.
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it just makes it so much easier. And we're trying to integrate, what we've done is we have a name badge. So that was the other question. We have a name badge that's connected to our registration list that we want to integrate with Meeting Pulse so
Mm.
that whether we're printing, utilizing a Zebra printer or we're using a rental printer, we want to be able to just have it all in one-stop shop and then be able to just continue with Meeting Pulse and gather that data. So. we will be chatting in the new year, I'm sure.
Yep, sounds good.
Yes, I'm excited. And thanks for the Christmas spirit. That sweater.
I got to see the
Loving
rest
it.
of it.
Very nice.
Come on, guys. This is why we
Okay.
have a meeting and not a webinar. It's so fun. Thank you, Laura. We
Thank you guys.
appreciate you, and it's great to have you as part of the Meeting Pulse family. All righty.